Devin Gardner.
Today on DNVR Buffs Live, we are coming to you from Frisco, Texas at the Star for Big 12 Media Days. We got Bruce Feldman. We got Devin Gardner. We've got our Big 12 preseason rankings and much, much more. Let's get it. Let's go,
Squad. Yes, sir. Coming to you live from Frisco, Texas at the Star. It's Big 12 Media Days 2025. An absolutely loaded show. We got the world's smallest camera here. And we got some special guests who are going to join the show today. It's quite a loaded show, actually.
It is a loaded show. Great to be here. I was a little behind you guys in reaching Frisco, Texas. But we're here, we're locked in, and I think we got a good one going.
No doubt, man.
It's been a fun day. It's about to get even more fun out here in Texas with it. We got a fun show here today. Talk to some cool people. I'm excited to show the people.
Yeah, so obviously 2-day events. Our day is tomorrow. Coach Prime and the Buffs will be here then. But today it's, I don't know, more tame, I guess, kind of like last year. It was the same day one of last year, really.
This thing don't start turning up till Colorado arrive. We know how that goes.
It's different, yeah.
I was just thinking about when I got here how last year at this first opening day, we saw a lot of like the big running backs.
Yeah.
And it was Taj Brooks and it was Ollie Gordon. I think he was here, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
And even maybe Giddens was on that first day.
Was Harvey here too?
Potentially,
probably.
Yeah. At the time, future Bronco RJ Harvey.
Shout out to him.
And there was multiple Heisman campaigns being like launched. Taj Brooks handed us a poker chip after we interviewed him that had a QR code, and he scanned it. It was like TajBrooksForHeisman.com. And there was a lot of like that type of buzz, and no one was talking about Travis Hunter as the future Heisman winner. So I had to put it on today. You know, one of our many Travis Hunter for Heisman, just to let everyone know, like, hey, don't forget about the Buffs out here.
I feel like it's a good point about the running backs last year, and that's obviously what kind of dominated, I feel like, the conference throughout this season. You know, the running backs, Scatterbo, like you mentioned, Giddens, Harvey, Brooks. This year it seems like it's the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks are kind of the story of the conference, and Brett Yormark mentioned in his opening statement earlier today, the Big 12 returns 9 quarterbacks who threw for over 2,400 yards last season. 9 quarterbacks.
Pretty low bar.
Rest of the Power 4, though, has combined 11.
Oh, wow.
Right. So, like, there's a lot of returning production at the quarterback position, at the most important position on the football field, returning to the Big 12. We heard from some of them today. You know, Avery was out there. We saw Brennan Sorsby, Sawyer Robertson.
Love it.
Sam Levitt, who is the darling of the Big 12, apparently this offseason, the preseason offensive player of the year. So it's quarterback-led conference, which is good for the conference as a whole.
Kind of reminds me of 2023 Pac-12.
See, that's what I was just going to say, though. Like, it doesn't actually remind me at all of the 2023 Pac-12.
Well, in terms of star power, but in terms of star power, yes. But, like, week to week, like, if you're going against one of these teams and you have 7, 8 of them on your schedule, man, you're going to be in for a dogfight.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, having experience at the quarterback position is one of the more valuable things in college football.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the big take for me is, like, you're not going to get a lot of games where you can count on the other team's quarterback to make some silly mistakes. Like, these guys are going to be locked in. They're going to be making smart decisions with the football. But it's nothing like seeing Caleb Williams and Michael Penix and Bo Nix and all of those guys, you know, in a calendar year where it was just like first-round picks.
Cam Ward.
Yeah, Cam Ward.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
exactly. A two future number 1 overalls on the schedule that year.
Mm-hmm.
Very different this year, but it is true that, you got to face Baron Morton. Like, that's a challenge. You know, it's something that you're going to have to be ready for, that he's going to take care of the football.
Yep. Rocco Beck, too, who I mean, we talked to Devin Gardner, and we'll get to him later in the show. Mm-hmm. He had a lot to say about Iowa State, actually. But, yeah, we talked to him. We'll play a clip from the commish here as well, but we're going to start today. We found Bruce Feldman. Been doing it a long time. I think he was at Fox. He's at The Athletic now, still doing stuff for Fox, actually. But national CFB insider, one of the OGs.
Definitely. He's been a believer in Coach Prime. We talked to him about that. And one thing I liked about him, I told this to Scotty right before the show started, I feel like a lot of the guys that are in his position take themselves very seriously. I don't get the vibe that he takes himself too seriously as a college football insider.
Right. Totally. All right. Let's go to Bruce.
Bruce Felly.
Yes.
Bruce Feldman. Yes, that is him.
What the Felly?
We're ready. So here's our conversation with Bruce Feldman. We got Bruce Feldman here. I mean, been around covering the game a long time, man. I mean, you spoke highly about Deion Sanders in the past. It's a bit of a transition year. What do you expect out of the Colorado Buffaloes for this season?
Well, I think they'll be better on the lines than they probably have been, because I think some of the stuff that they built over his first 2 years, obviously I was in the Alamo Bowl. It was a rough last game. You lose so much star power, so much of the identity and the leadership, I think. Not just like the guys who went on the NFL who are like the headline guys, but you have a safety who was like the leader of the defense. He's gone. Most people outside of CU probably don't know him, and then if he can get them to a bowl this year, I think that's a big win. I think realistically it's not can you stay in the top 25, it's just like can you stay as a winning program this year after losing all they lost.
I feel like on the national scale you've been on the high side in terms of believers in what Deion Sanders is doing. What is it about him that you believe in so much?
I think it's, first of all, you have like the most charismatic leader we probably see in college football. I think you have a lot of buy-in with the people around. I think some of the guys I know who are on that coaching staff who have been around, like I trust what they've told me. And also we've seen it. I work at Fox. We were there at TCU. Saw. I think some of it was I went to the conference meetings before his first season, and some of my colleagues who used to work with him at NFL Network know him really well. They know him because they were colleagues of his, and just to see him off camera, listen to him talk for like a half hour, I came away saying, I could totally see how this can work there. I mean, you guys probably remember this, but I think most people don't. That program was horrible before he took it. It wasn't just like they were bad. They weren't like 4-8. They were like one win and getting blown out of almost every other game. So to see what they became after 1 year where they were competitive and won some games, and then year 2, you win 9 games and you get in the top 25. I mean, that's a pretty rare jump that what he was able to do. And so I think for a lot of people who are very cynical and critical of him and what he was doing and skeptical, I just don't think that they're in his orbit in terms of like I don't know. I think he's different, and I think for a lot of people, they don't know what to make a difference, so they scoff at it.
Quarterback situation, obviously Kaidon Salter, Julian Lewis. Just what are you hearing? How do you think that works out? Who starts Georgia Tech?
I'm interested to see how it goes. I mean, obviously Kaidon has a lot of experience, and he's a good running quarterback. I would think you would go experience. Julian Lewis is so young. I mean, he's probably not even 18 yet, right? Because he left a year early. I'm interested to see how it plays out. It's interesting that they brought both. They're bringing both of them here. So, I'd be surprised if the receiver core was anywhere near as good as what it's been, just because you don't just lose Travis, but you lose Jimmy Horn Jr., you lost Western. I mean, that's a lot of firepower. So, maybe having a running quarterback is a run-first kind of threat is an interesting way to go for them in the transition.
I think the idea, is kind of accepted that maybe the median talent on this team is higher than it's been since Coach Prime got there, but you lack, stars like Travis and Shedeur. If you were a coach, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the superstar power and, maybe less depth and skill on the rest of the roster, or the more well-rounded roster?
If you could keep the superstar power healthy, I would take that, because I just thought you had guys. We're at the Utah game, and I remember being on the field in the first. I think they start off, and it's like a turnover right out of the gate.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, this could be interesting, because Utah's, even if they're playing their fourth-string quarterback, but then you watch the, Travis Hunter wow plays, and you just see how the rest of the team reacts when you have such a difference maker. And I feel like he's like the fuse that lights everything off. And it was just a really unique atmosphere to be there and be on the sideline for that and see the energy of that. And I think a lot of that comes from that star power. So, but, obviously it worked out really well. I know they wanted to finish the year with 10 wins and everything, but considering where they were 2 years earlier, it's really remarkable.
All right, Bruce Feldman, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Nice seeing you.
All right, there he is. Shout out to Bruce Feldman for giving us some time. I thought it was pretty insightful, and just another guy who's spent time around Coach Prime, away from the cameras, got to know him a little bit, and he just sees who he is.
Speaking of guys who spent some time around Coach Prime a little bit, we got our guy. Man. Been too long. Great to see him. I don't think Unc or Scotty could really hear that interview, so we'll keep the reactions to it brief. But to me, I just loved what he said, which illuminates something to me. Because I asked him, why have you been such a believer in what Coach Prime did? And he basically said, in more eloquent words, he's just different than everyone else.
Yeah.
And no one else can really replicate that. And if you don't believe that he is going to figure this out and be great at it, it just means you haven't really ever met him.
Right.
And that's kind of the way that I think a lot of people feel about it. It's just when you just walk into a room, or when he walks into a room that you're in, and you just feel all eyes, all of the air, everything is just focused on him. And there's just a different level of magnetism that Coach Prime has that you just can't replicate in any other way. And I thought he did a great job of explaining that.
Totally. What's up, Unc?
All good in the hood, brothers. How y'all feeling?
Good, man.
Man,
Good to see you.
Call it good to see you.
Man, it's good to be seen. They always say that the basketball tournament, the playoffs, it doesn't start till the home team loses.
That is
or the
true.
road team wins.
Right.
College football doesn't start till media day. It is now football time in America.
That's exactly what I posted when I walked in here. I said, this is how you know football season is almost around the corner. I think I saw these guys next to us were telling someone 57 days.
Let's go.
Until the season starts, which maybe that makes it 56 for us.
Yeah.
Right.
A little over 7 weeks, right around there.
Oh, man. What a great feeling that is.
I'm just loving it because we're finally in a month that it happens in that month.
Oh, yeah.
We report back Sunday the 27th for a team meeting, July 27th.
Yep.
And we're in July now. So it's okay, it's here.
And
now we're just counting down the days, and Monday the 28th, that first practice. All right, now we're ready. We're in the same month now.
Yes.
Yeah, Scotty just keeps saying there's a game next month.
Next month. That's
We're finally at that point.
what I'm finding solace in right now.
All right, let's take our first break, and then we'll talk to Unc a bit more and get his thoughts on a lot.
I got thoughts.
Shout out to our friends over at Cake Mortgage, where they make getting a home, getting a loan, just a piece of cake. If you're a regular employee, maybe not a freelancer, don't own your own business, maybe not a content creator for that sake, and you get a W-2, it's really easy, to go to a bank, get a loan, get yourself a house, and you're on your way, right? It's more complicated for business owners and folks like that to get a loan. And that's where our friends at Cake come in, because they can get business owners approved by validating your cash flow through bank statements, certified profit and loss statements, or business tax returns. Hit them up. Cake Mortgage. Hit the link in the description to get started. Cake Mortgage Co., Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply.
The building that we are in is sponsored by a car company.
Yep.
And it's a car company that I used to own. And boy, am I glad I no longer own one of those, man. And I own a Toyota because I don't have to name any names, but Toyota clears the place that sponsors this place by a lot. And I know from experience, and that's why I'm a Toyota customer for the rest of my life. Guaranteed. I think, I feel bad for my Toyota that I did this, but I think I waited a little too long on the old oil change this last time around. I struggle with adulting quite a lot.
Life happens, bro.
And I just think the Toyota just takes it in stride. Like, it doesn't mope, it doesn't whine.
Right.
It's just like, hey, he's probably busy having fun, and we're just going to let him do that. So shout out to my Toyota for always taking me where I need to go, regardless of maybe how I treat it. Treat your Toyota well and get yourself a new Toyota by going to a Front Range Toyota store by a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corin Toyota and Boulder Grove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is an official partner of the Colorado Buffaloes and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
I never knew that Toyota was self-lubricating, but I learned so much today that just drive it. It'll take care of it.
It's kind of true. I wish, I don't recommend that. Yeah. But somehow, some way, it finds that self-lubricant.
I got a question for you.
I got an answer.
These guys just asked Bruce Feldman a little bit about it. I asked Denard Robinson, former Michigan quarterback.
Devin Gardner.
Thank you. Devin Gardner, former Michigan quarterback, current Fox analyst, about this. What do you make of both of these quarterbacks for Colorado being here at Media Day? What do you think that says about those two guys in particular, where the competition might be as we sit here on July 8th?
Heated, close, tough, and Coach Prime is doing well within his rights, but also going out of his way to make sure everyone has an opportunity. Mm-hmm. I really think, Scott, that a lot of folks still don't grasp 3 seasons in Colorado how much off the field matters to Coach Prime. Not just going to breakfast, which is mandatory, but checking in.
Yeah.
The guy taking the roll is right there, but you can go get a plate, but if you don't go to him and say, I'm here, you didn't go.
Right.
Being in your seat 15 minutes before meetings. Of course, the academics matter. Coach Prime considers all things before you get that L or that D on your jersey. And I think in this quarterback situation, what a better atmosphere to put both of these guys in.
Right.
And all things matter. And if it matters, you measure it. So he's bringing both quarterbacks. That old adage in college football, even professional football, if you got 2 QBs, you ain't got one, that really doesn't apply to Colorado right now. We got 2 talented quarterbacks who are going at this competition in the right mindset. It's as DJ McKinney puts it, is competitive without being combative.
Right.
But both of their presence here says to both of them, I ain't made my mind up yet.
For sure.
Show me something.
And just to add to that, like, if I had the opportunity to talk to both of these two guys off camera or whatever, what I would want to tell them is Coach Prime misses nothing.
Yeah.
He's like Santa Claus when you're a kid. Like, he knows exactly what you're doing. Everything that you're doing is being graded or at least filed. And you have to understand who you're following in the footsteps of, not just for 1 or 2 years, but for 10 years?
Yeah.
You're following in the footsteps of a guy whose nickname is Grown and who has been acting like a grown-ass man since he was a child. And the way that he carried himself and the way that he went about his business, the way that he did everything was all to a certain level. And your job is to get as close to that, if not surpass it, in everything that you do. And
surpassing it is possible. It is not this far-fetched standard or metric that no one can achieve. Shedeur Sanders, for lack of a better description, set the standard. Like, okay, he's the mold that you want your college QB to be. And it's attainable. Like, you've seen him in the building. You've seen him be in his seat 15 minutes before. You've seen him check in at breakfast. You've seen the example of film study. Never once was his name on the screen for lack of preparation. So all these things matter. It's not just the command of the offense, because the team is not going to follow a guy that's not leading in all areas.
Right.
Coach Swayze, strength and conditioning, he loves to say it. He's like, you can't lead in the game and not lead here.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, that make any sense? Who's going to follow you on the field during the game and they're smoking you out here doing strength and conditioning? Like, you got to lead in both facets.
One of the first things Marshall Falk said when he addressed the team was how you do anything is how you do everything. And I know that Coach Prime feels the same way. How you handle yourself in meetings, how you handle yourself in the locker room, at breakfast, in front of the media. All of it is being judged 1%, all right? I think that's fair. Like 1% is being added into the formula of trying to decide who's going to be the guy under center.
And as RK said, it all matters.
Right.
You know, he may not have a little punch list and he's writing down notes to put in his back pocket, but he sees everything, he observes everything, and at the end of the day, everything is going to go into the process of making a decision. Not just, oh, that was a tight spiral.
Yeah. And it's not like Shedeur, you know, I'm just thinking like early morning breakfast meetings, these sorts of things. It's not like Shedeur is like a morning person where he wakes up and he's super chipper at 7 a.m. Like, he didn't want to wake up that early either, but you saw him, he's in there in his seat, ready, you know, notebook out, because he understood that was the standard, and he also understood that his dad, Coach Prime, makes no exceptions to the standard. And, you know, it's a little different for someone like Shiloh, who, you know, definitely likes to push the boundaries a little bit, but he's not the quarterback.
Yeah.
And when you're the quarterback, you don't get a little leash to push the boundaries or anything like that. You, like you said, have to lead in every single facet. And so I look at this quarterback competition different than I would if really any other person was the head coach, because I understand that Coach Prime doesn't play about any of the aspects that he thinks goes into this formula.
And he came into this season, guys. So last year the goal was get Miss Peggy to a bowl game. Check, did that. He's going into this season saying it's back here in Dallas in the first weekend of December or we failed. We have to be in the Big 12 championship and win it, or the season was a failure. That's the standard.
Period.
To get to that, what he told us in January in the team meeting is this year, everything matters. I don't care how small a detail it is, paper on the floor, parking lot, you know, parking outside the line. Everything matters. If it's something we're measuring, we're going to make it matter and keep up with it, because we got to get disciplined so we're not getting these penalties. Right. We got to be in shape and have depth all throughout the season. Everything matters. Everything is on the table. Everything is being evaluated. And that goes to the quarterbacks, to safety, to offensive line. It doesn't matter who you are.
To the other coaches.
To the other coaches. It doesn't matter who you are in the building. It is constant evaluation, because the goal has changed this year.
Yeah. I mean, the quarterbacks will be here. They're going to be the story. But DJ, Jordan, they're going to be here. Motto will be here as well. But DJ and Jordan just named to preseason all Big 12 team, first team. And you've seen Jordan step up and really assume that leadership role. Just what have you seen from DJ and Jordan in those roles as they it's a program in transition, really? Embracing
it. It would be easy to just say, okay, by default, I'm the leader now. Right. But no, I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to do all these things we've been talking about in the team, because I want the coaches to see it. I want my teammates to see it. I want everybody to believe in me, and that's why they were selected to be here. Of course, the quarterbacks are going to command the attention. That's the nature of the beast. But I can't wait for the world to see Jordan Seaton in this new body. And I can't wait for the world to hear DJ McKinney and what he brings, his mindset to this year of football and what he wants to accomplish for this team. I don't know if Coach Prime could have selected, you know, a better group of guys to be here than he has, because these are the dudes that if we're going to be successful, they got to be successful.
Right. How have you kind of seen that transition too, though? Like, obviously, Shedeur, Travis, Shiloh, Cam, I mean, we can go on and on, like leaders of the team from last year. And it's different for Coach too, but like how has that kind of set in for everyone? Like, I mean, it's obviously new faces in higher places too, so just...
I think you felt it this spring. You know, you walked in the building in February, it's like, oh man, the guys are gone.
Yeah.
And then when you saw them working out, getting ready for Pro Day, it kind of put a little bandage over the wound of them not being there, because you were still seeing them. But by the time you got to May and then summer one, it's like, okay, this is the team. There is no Travis. We don't have a Batman and Robin, whichever way to flip it. We don't have a guy that he's just going to make it happen and get us out of trouble. Yeah. Like, we got to have all facets and phases of this game clicking. I totally agree. It's not just a sales pitch that this team is a better team than it was last year, but you don't have the Justice League anymore, where you just, oh, don't worry about it. You know, they're going to beat Lex Luthor. Everything will be fine. Like, no. Like, we got to have a run game.
Yep.
Okay? We can't give up big plays in the secondary. We got to be able to stop the run. Like, everything is going to matter with this team, because we don't have that margin of error that other folks' talent used to make up.
And sometimes that helps a team. sometimes it's too easy to, especially for young guys, to look out there and be like, Shedor's got us. Travis has got us. Like, you see those guys at practice and you're like, yeah, man, nobody's covering him. Nobody's stopping Shedor from throwing for 300 yards. And when those guys are gone, you start to, like, look around and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
There's no one to do that. Like, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who now has to step up. On a different note, when Coach Prime first got to Colorado, I remember there was a lot made about him wanting to run out for the TCU game.
Yes.
It was kind of like a stated goal. I'm going to make this happen. I'm pushing towards that. In a much smaller sense, I almost feel like making an appearance here at Big 12 Media Days was like another kind of thing that Coach Prime pointed to and said, like, okay, I want to be healthy for that. Is that fair to kind of say?
I think all of that is fair because he wants to be the best Coach Prime he can be. But I think we also have to get some juxtaposition against what really matters. And I think what matters more than a media day appearance is that July 27th team meeting appearance. And you don't want to do anything to reset something and start over. And let's keep this in mind, guys. This is third media day. He's missed one before.
Yeah.
And we kicked ass. The season doesn't necessarily – success of the season doesn't hinge on, an appearance at media day. But, coach is going to make the best decision for him as far as his interactions, his travel, and what he does. Had a text exchange with him, just yesterday. And, he's up and at him, man. I'm looking forward to the season.
Love it, man.
Same. Looking forward to seeing him.
He is that dude. And, what y'all were talking about earlier with the guest that Scotty and I couldn't hear. Some of the times Deion Sanders will say things about Coach Prime, and people just think that's from his little black book. He really doesn't mean it, But the guy really does change the temperature of a room when he walks in.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people behave differently when he's around. Haters are lovers.
Every time.
And so when he says, hey, man, I want to adjust to the temperature adjust to me. Like, it's not as cliche. He does it. Like, the mood changes when he's around. The standard elevates when he's around. Like my drunk uncle used to say, the bullshit stops when the tailgate drops. And so when you're letting the dogs out, Coach Prime is that dude, man.
Well, I feel like everyone's had someone that they've been around when they were younger who maybe was like the star football player or whatever in high school, where it's like everyone acts a little different around them. Everyone's trying. The girls are making sure their hair is right. The guys are like, they make a joke, they look to see if he laughs. Like, Coach Prime is that, but he's like the number one version of that. Like, all of those people that that were like that would do that when he walks in.
Yeah. And I think people lose track of that was him before he was coaching.
It's always been
like
him.
that's him.
Yeah.
And so when he becomes your coach, that comes with it. Like, he literally is one of the most recognizable people in the world. He is a A-list celebrity that coaches football. And what a beautiful combination to have in Boulder, Colorado.
Amen.
Totally. Let's take our next break.
Yeah.
Take our next break? Yes.
She doesn't have a headset on, so you got to.
I know.
Yeah, I can't hear very well, sorry.
It's all good. Shout out to new friends. Up to you. Totally up to you.
We're just go.
Chicken and Pickle. Chicken and Pickle is a spot out in Thornton. Basically, it's pickleball courts and just food, man. Good
Love
stuff.
pickleball, bro. Just picked it up.
Pro?
Played it for the first time like 3 weeks ago.
Really?
It was like really fun, bro. And I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But like, I had a good time. Like, it's really like a mix. I played a lot of ping pong in high school, like as a little hobby or whatever. But like, it's like a mix of ping pong and tennis. It's like it's in the middle, so it's pretty fun. And you get some chicken with it too, some seasonal cocktails. That's the spot right there.
Yeah, it is. RK's a pickleball pro. Are you pro status yet?
No, it was hurting my back too much, so I couldn't mess around with that during golf season.
Fair enough, fair enough. They got more than 50 indoor and outdoor TVs. Watch the game, cheer on your favorite team, play some pickleball, eat some good food. Hit them up. Again, they're out in Thornton. Family-friendly fun awaits. Visit chickenpickle.com to plan your visit today.
Shout out to Chicken Pickle, and also shout out to Empire Today, our good friends over at Empire Today, because just like your favorite team needs a home court, maybe a home field advantage, your home deserves and needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today is the place that you can get that done. Why? Because Empire Today has flooring experts. They got dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring 24/7. That's every single day of the year. Some of these Empire Today benefits, right? Obviously, maybe the biggest one, in my opinion, is that their flooring experts can bring the showroom right to your home. You can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks with your furniture in your house. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about convenience. You can get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. So, schedule a free home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. You heard that right. $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DNVR for full details.
Real quick, make sure you hit the thumbs up today. Make sure you send the link to a friend. Make sure you comment after the show.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can tell the powers that be that it's worth it for us to come to these events.
Most
which we
definitely.
wholeheartedly believe.
Definitely.
No doubt. Appreciate you, chat. Appreciate all the love. We got a lot more to get to today. It's going to be a long one. An OG show.
Let's get it.
You're good. You're good.
So, you're good. Devin Gardner?
Yeah.
Scotty and I spoke to Devin Gardner.
How did that feel for you, bro? As
really
a
cool
real
for me.
Michigan man,
That was
bro.
really cool.
That's dope.
I told him, I was like, so the first time that I went to Ann Arbor with me and my pops, we went to the Big House for a game. It was 2013 when Notre Dame came to Ann Arbor under the lights for the first time. And he broke out the 98 jersey in that game.
You didn't tell me that was your first game when you were telling me that 98 story.
Yeah, that was my first Michigan game in Michigan Stadium. Only game in Michigan Stadium. But yeah, he was the guy under Denard Robinson. He played, I think, a little wide receiver at the time. And as someone said, I think it was Cornholy in the chat, like, those were some dark days for Michigan football. And Devin Gardner and Denard Robinson made it fun. So shout out to those guys.
Awesome.
So yeah, Scotty and I spoke to him a lot about the Big 12, a lot about quarterbacks.
Yep.
Devin Gardner.
Ready?
I'm ready. Here he is.
Here with Fox play-by-play and former Michigan quarterback Devin Gardner. Analyst.
Yeah, Tim is play-by-play.
Oh, my bad.
That's it.
I know. Got to clarify the titles for the booth.
Of course.
Obviously, Colorado. I mean, a lot of transition this year. No Shador, no Travis. Just what do you think the outlook is for this team as they kind of move into a new era?
I think it's excitement. I think that Coach Sanders has done a very nice job of showing what he's capable of as a coach. Now, a lot of people are questioning maybe can he do it without his son and obviously Travis Hunter, and that remains to be seen. But he's got two options at quarterback, one with experience, one with not a lot of experience but a lot of talent. Who they have an option, and I think the one thing for Colorado is they have to continue to find a way to be dominant on the offensive and defensive line. If they can figure that out, the skillful players, you're going to go play for Deion, but they got to find a way to get those interior guys all settled in, and if they do that, I think the sky's the limit.
You had a tweet recently talking about the Big 12 quarterbacks being a little slept on nationally.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Why do you think that is, and who are some of your favorite guys in this conference that you think are in for a big 2025?
Well, I think the reason for that is the conference itself is slept on, right? So if you're sleeping on the conference, you obviously don't need to ever get to the quarterback since you're not even going to enter the conference, right? So I've gotten a chance to do a lot of Big 12 games. You know, a lot of people think I do all Big 10 games, but I actually do more Big 12 games over the last couple of years, and just seeing the quality of football and the ability for each team to compete, and it doesn't matter when the game is and who's playing who. It's always a chance that one team could win or the other team could win, right? It's not like that in most conferences. Right. But watching the quarterback play, firstly, a lot of guys have played a lot of ball, right? And aside from that, they got a chance to make those early mistakes because they got to play young, right? When you play young, it's kind of a double-edged sword where you could lose your confidence, but you could also get a lot of experience, and I think that this conference has those quarterbacks that have done that. And one of the quarterbacks I think that nobody knows about as much is Sawyer Robertson and Devin Dampier.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now Devin Dampier is not homegrown in the conference, right, obviously, but I had his week 0 game a year ago, and that's how I found out about him.
Yeah.
Outstanding player, and the fact that he's here after joining the team shows a lot, because a lot of times you get a transfer quarterback, you don't bring them to media day because it's like, I want to at least maybe send a message, or I want to find a way for him to prove that he's a leader, and he's done that already because he's here at media day. His talent is unquestionable, and I can't wait to see him play against better competition and show what he has.
And then Sawyer Robertson, big, strong, can run, can throw, right? And when you have that at quarterback, and they'll have talent around them, I think you can be a special player. And the names that everybody knows, Rocco Beck and Levitt, all those guys, obviously. But those two guys, I think, are two that people really don't know about as much, and I think they have a real good shot.
Kind of speaking about that, Jake and I are both big Devin Dampier fans. He's from
he has a great name.
So
it's not exactly spelled properly, I would say.
Yes.
However, we say it like it's supposed to be said.
He passes the name test for sure, and he can ball for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I thought it was very, important what you mentioned. Like, he obviously transferred this offseason, but he's here at Media Day, so clearly he proves to be a leader of the team. Kind of similar to Colorado, right? They have two quarterbacks here. One who transferred this offseason from Liberty, who I'm sure you're familiar with, Kaidon Salter, a true freshman already here. Both quarterbacks. I think you can kind of say the same thing, that they've quickly kind of shown that they're become a cohesive part of this team. What do you kind of make of the new kind of quarterbacks and this new era of Colorado football with those two guys potentially leading the charge?
It's really impressive to see them both here, and obviously they've competed enough, and it says a lot about the young guy, right? Because Salter is a person that has played a lot of football and has played well. So the fact that you're even in the mix to even be brought here as a question mark of who's going to be the quarterback, maybe they do know who the quarterback is already, but the fact that you pushed it enough that you want to keep it a secret a little bit, I think that's impressive. And he's always been a guy that's been able to play. Coming out of Atlanta, I mean, he's a person from Carrollton that played young, played with really good players young, and led those guys. And then he got older, and the process kind of continued. It's really impressive to see at this level that he's able now. We haven't seen him get tackled yet, which I'm a stickler for guys who haven't been tackled at this level. It's a little different than being tackled by college kids who have like the homework to go do, the algebra 2 and what have you. But the fact that he's been able to show things through the spring and the summer workouts and the winter workouts, because I remember as a young player going into college and Denard Robinson and Tate Forcier being at University of Michigan, the summer and the winter was terrible for me. Right, the workouts, the waking up, the class, all these different things. So I couldn't even really focus on football as much as I wanted to because my head was spinning. So the fact that he's been able to focus on football, get everything done, and has been invited here is really impressive.
Going back to Kaidon Salter and honestly kind of Devin Dampier too, just these athletic quarterbacks, especially with CU, you really struggled to run the football the last 2 seasons under Coach Prime. You get a rebuilt offensive line, but what Kaidon brings with that running game, just you as an athletic quarterback yourself too, how does that change an offense?
Yeah, for Colorado, firstly, the running game will be better. Why? Because you have to worry about the quarterback and his ability to break the game. No defensive coordinator wants to give up yards to the quarterback running. They just don't, especially if it's not Lamar Jackson, right? And Salter, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a really good runner, right? And so when he breaks off for a 5 or 6 yard gain on first down, now you got issues, right? Because we can't allow the quarterback to hit big plays like that. And don't even talk about how he goes 15, 16, 17 yards down the field. I think that opens up a lot. And the rush lanes are different for the defensive lineman, right? They can't just freely rush because he may get out and run. And like I talked about, you cannot allow a quarterback to break the game as a runner. And so I think that's going to help the offensive line in the run game and having that extra person, right? So you go quarterback run, you have an extra blocker, right? In the running back or whoever it is. And when you don't have to block that backside defensive end on a read option, different things like that, which they couldn't do a year ago because the nature of their quarterback, obviously. Great quarterback, but he doesn't add that dimension to help the offensive line. And I think Salter will do that.
I'm curious your thoughts on kind of coming up a level, right? Obviously, Devin Dampier's kind of doing it. Kaidon Salter's doing it. A lot of people think, they want to see it before they really believe it. What are your thoughts on kind of making that jump from FCS or D1AA to FBS football?
It's very fickle just because you don't know. And I think a lot of it has to do with what team you're going to and the players around you. Because you've seen a lot of quarterbacks come from that lower level and they perform well, but you've seen some come and it's just like, it's overwhelming. Right. It's too much. And I don't think that will be the case for Devin Dampier. The way he was able to handle what he was able to do, winning the job first where he was, and being the guy who doesn't have all the great players around him, but still finding a way to navigate and do things the right way and improve. I was really impressed because after that first week 0 game, obviously I didn't have him anymore, but I continued to follow to watch how he was doing, and his name is great. Can't forget his name, but his name is great, but his game is tight. Another runner-thrower that I think can present real issues for defense. No doubt.
Just the Big 12 in general. I mean, ASU's getting a lot of hype right now. I mean, voted last year, so the parity is there in this conference. Just when you look at it, how do you think it shakes out? What do you think Colorado's chances are at making a run?
So I want to wait and see on Colorado just because you want to see what the quarterback situation is, because if Salter doesn't win the job, right, now you don't get that element of that running quarterback that can kind of help the offensive line come along in the running game. So you want to find out and see, and also defensively, what are they going to be? But the top is going to be the top, like it always is. I think that Iowa State has continued to show, having their best season last year, I think ever. They were very impressive. It's like a slow bleed when you play them. It's like they just keep doing things right, and it seems like you're doing well, but they just keep not flinching. And then by the end of the game, it's like, oh, here they are again, winning the football game. Their quarterback Rocco Beck has done a really nice job. He's improved very well. I've been calling his game since he was a redshirt freshman, and now he's a grown-up, right? Yeah. And he's proved that he can handle the pressure because they got a backup quarterback that's really good, a young guy who's got real talent, and he continues to kind of fend them off, and that's impressive to watch. Arizona State, obviously, you got a quarterback that's dynamic, you got a chance. Now, Scatterboo's not there anymore. Right. However, I think it's going to give a lot of opportunity to the quarterback to add his legs into the situation. I think that's going to really help them too.
Love it. Commissioner Yormark said today that he expects multiple.
He stole a lot of my notes, I feel like. I sent my tweet out yesterday, and then he says, like, he got 9 quarterbacks and 24. I said, wait, I didn't know that. I'm a genius. Am I a genius?
He's reading the timeline.
My name's Devin, though, so it's all good. Could you get off my timeline, Mr. Commissioner? But when he said that stuff, I'm like, that's what the tape says. I didn't know about the numbers, but the tape says those 9 quarterbacks are talented, and for the rest of the power conferences to only have 11, that's crazy, right? So he was right on that, of course. Got it from my time. You got one more?
I'm good. Devin Gardner.
Appreciate you.
Oh wait, I got one last. You got one more.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
If you could play for any current Big 12 head coach right now, go back in time, who would it be?
I don't know, man. I'm partial to Coach Campbell, man.
Okay.
What he's able to do with not just from this past year or the years that I've been calling him.
Yeah.
I mean, back to Toledo, like, he has been the guy, and I don't think people give him the respect that he deserves with the ability to not get the very best player all the time.
Oh yeah.
But when he gets a player, they had 2 receivers drafted last year. Let's just
2 dogs,
2 monsters,
2
right?
dogs.
And so when you see stuff like that, it's just like, okay, he's really developing, and that's what I would be looking for if I was coming up. Obviously, you like some NIL too now, but if I'm coming up, I want to be developed and have an opportunity to go play at the next level. And apparently, he's doing it over there.
That Colorado-Iowa State game this year is going to be got a lot of.
Hopefully, I get it. I hope I get it. That'd be great. That'd be
Hope
great.
to see you out there, man.
Of course, man. Appreciate you.
Devin Gardner, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Shout out to the people who actually watched the interview.
I was gonna say, do y'all even watch the show?
Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all one time to chill, man. That's all y'all can get from me, man. Relax before I get on there with y'all.
Sometimes I watch this chat and I'm like, they'll go a whole show without reacting to a single thing that happens on the show. They're just having their own conversation.
Bro, just a bunch of instigators, bro. It's all right though. I can tell you, I'm strong-willed. I got thick skin. You feel me? I ain't tripping. You feel me? It's all right. Let me get y'all back.
Shout out Devin Gardner, though. He was great.
Scotty's the Cam Newton.
All right. Watch this. Say less. Watch this. No, Devin Gardner was great. I mean, I hope. Obviously, he likes Iowa State.
He does. State a lot.
He likes Rocco Beck. We'll see how that ends up shaking out. That matchup is going to be really intriguing, though. I feel like that's not really a matchup that we've talked about a lot this offseason between Colorado and Iowa State, but obviously Iowa State was in the Big 12 championship game, right? Last year against Arizona State, returned a lot of their team. Returned the quarterback, obviously. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be fun.
What was the most notable thing you guys think he said?
He knew a lot about Julian that I did not expect him to know. Going back, talking about Carrollton, just his talent. Julian is on a lot of people's radars who know ball.
Love it. And Scotty?
Yeah, talked about. I mean, I would agree with. I mentioned Juju coming from Atlanta, that Metro Atlanta area, being a baller since he was a kid. How Kaidon is going to help this run game, right? Which has to be better. The run game has to be better. It can't be the worst in the conference, arguably the worst in FBS again. Caden's going to help in that regard. And he also mentioned, which is what this, I think, recruiting staff in both from the high school ranks and the transfer portal have really done. Offensive line and defensive line. The trenches is how you really get the entire college football world to take this thing that's going on in Boulder, Colorado seriously. Continuing to add trenches, and that's what they've been doing. Picked up another big offensive line commit in the 2026 class yesterday. They really addressed the defensive line in the portal this past season as well. So if you can continue to add on the trenches on both sides of the ball, like, this thing is going to continue to go in the right direction.
Love it.
No doubt. Daddy Yorbucks?
Yeah.
We took a minute from the commish. He was his usual self, talking confident and strong about this conference. Here's the highlight of what Commissioner Yormark had to say today.
And once again, I believe we will be the deepest football conference in America. No league offers the competitive balance that we do. Last season, the Big 12 led the nation in fourth quarter lead changes and go-ahead scores in the final minute of conference games. And this year, our star power, especially at quarterback, will be on full display. The Big 12 returns 9 starting quarterbacks who threw for over 2,400 yards last season. The rest of the Power 4 combined, just 11. We also boast one of the nation's top coaching lineups, from Hall of Famers to rising stars. I fully expect the Big 12 to earn multiple college football playoff bids this year, and to show once again that we can compete with anyone. Speaking of the CFP, we continue to believe the 5-11 model proposed by the Big 12 and the ACC is the right playoff format for college football. We want to earn it on the field. We do not need a professional model because we are not the NFL. We are college football, and we must act like it. There is nothing in sports like college football, and we must protect what makes it special and do what's right for the fans and the game.
All right, there's Big 12 Commissioner Yormark. Spoke about the CFP, specs multiple teams this year. I think that should be the goal, honestly.
I got to tell Daddy Yorbucks that he's just got to be a little more – he's got to loosen up a little bit over there. I'm getting real my fellow Americans vibes out of him. Just relax a little, man. It's not that serious.
Y'all think that's valid, though? What are the odds the Big 12 gets multiple CFP bids this year?
What do you think, Oak?
You know, I think the future is brighter than right now for it. I think going in this year is going to be much to do the same. That we got the one guaranteed spot, like you got to win. But I do see it shifting in the years to come because the parity is there.
Right. Yep.
If you just look at, so you know, everyone wants to term it as the SEC is falling off. The SEC is not falling off. The world is caught up.
Catching up.
You know, the parity with talent because of the transfer portal, because what you can do with NIL and now paying players, you know, from the school coffers, you're going to have more than one from the Big 12 in it because the numbers and success are going to dictate it. If that is that this year, I don't know. But it's coming.
The Big 12 needs it just for respect, honestly.
That means one team has to go undefeated, in my opinion. You're going to have to get an undefeated team out of the conference, and then it's like, okay, well, they were so good that being second place behind them is a worthy, you know, something worthy of being praised.
Yes.
And I worry about that because I think the conference is too good.
Yeah.
And it makes for amazing viewing on Saturday afternoons. I found myself last year when the Buffs had a Friday game or, you know, whatever, not on or maybe a late night game. I found myself watching the Big 12 more than any other conference because it feels like you get ASU and Cincy, it's a good game. You get BYU and Utah, it's a good game. Doesn't matter who you match up, it was always like interesting and fun to watch. And that's great on Saturdays. It's just bad when it comes to the end of the season because it's like, everyone ended up with 2 losses because every game's close and you're just not going to get the bounces in all of them. So I would love to sit here and say, I think the Big 12 gets 2 teams in. I just think you're going to end up with a 4-way tie at the top again, and you know, we're going to get one.
I think I kind of disagree with you, or where you say like it's going to take an undefeated team. I kind of don't look at it like that. I think another season or two, like the one we saw last year, where there was a clear Arizona State, you know, as kind of the top dog, and I thought BYU was a playoff caliber team last year. I thought Iowa State was kind of like a on the fringe, same with Colorado, kind of on the fringe playoff team. I feel like if we get that consistently for another year or two in the Big 12 where nationally, people are like, no, this conference has good quarterbacks. This conference has good coaches. This conference has good football teams. I think one more 2 years of what we saw last year, I think we can see in an 11-1 Big 12 champion and a 10-2, runner-up in the Big 12 both get in. I think that's plausible in the next year or two.
And I'm like literally right here because I do believe this year for it to happen.
You can squeeze in
because
there.
College football, I need to self-lubricate. See, every joke, you got to go back to the joke before you wrap a show up.
Oh, my God.
We're still living in college football in the shadow of the SEC. Like the buzz hasn't shifted yet where they're not literally the top dog. They are in everybody's mind. And so what rescues that is an undefeated team this year.
Yeah, right.
And someone right behind them. But that's why I say, Scotty, where I'm more like you in the years to come, I don't think it's going to take an undefeated guy in the Big 12 to prove you're just as good as the no-loss team or the one-loss team in the SEC.
Correct.
Because the parity is going to clearly be there. Look what the commissioner said. You got 9 quarterbacks coming back, and the rest of the conferences combined only got 11.
Yeah.
Like,
in terms of productive
that's a
guys.
formula for kick ass because college football success is still predicated on who has the best quarterback.
No doubt.
It kind of reminds me of the Pac-12 a bit, too. Like, their biggest issue when it came to the CFP was cannibalization, really, right? Mm-hmm. You need to avoid that. I don't know. Maybe I do kind of lean towards you, honestly, RK. Just you need just a clear no-doubter 1, and then you need a 2 who can play him a little close, and I think that'll bring you a lot more respect at that point.
Yeah, and it's what bothers me about, the praise and the just circle jerk that is the SEC and Big Ten, where it's just like, oh my God, they're just so much better. And it's like, no, they have 2 to 3 really good teams at the top that just beat up on a bunch of super mid teams below them. And, they're once in a while an SEC team will get upset, like Vanderbilt over Alabama last year, and it's like, oh, the SEC is just so amazing. And it's like, yeah, well, for the last 10 years, Alabama beat them by 50.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so it was
the fact of the matter is, RK, you wonderful point, double bump.
2 of them things.
Man, Mizzou don't want to play Cincinnati.
No.
Yeah. It's like they're people that are truly not up there will get blown out by our people that are not up there.
I guarantee
but people try to act like because they're the SEC that they would dominate everybody in the Big. No, you wouldn't.
I guarantee you in week 1, Auburn's more scared to play Baylor than Baylor's scared to play Auburn.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
And it's what makes that game so important for the status of the conference. It makes the Georgia Tech game so important for not just CU but for the conference.
It's tough for me because I want to just hate all of the teams around us, and I normally do, but like that one I think and I really hate Baylor. And that one I think I'm going to have to be pulling for.
You're going to have
for the brand you have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They play SMU week 2 as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one.
Wait, Auburn plays SMU? No. Baylor plays SMU.
I mean, there's some big games. I mean, Oklahoma State goes to Oregon, Like, there's some opportunities to make some noise in the out-of-conference this year.
And again, going back to the point of multiple playoff teams, Baylor beats those 2 teams and then ends with 2 or 3 losses in the conference. It will be really good for the brand of the Big 12 and the respect of the Big 12 to be like, well,
definitely,
they beat an SEC team. They beat, maybe the best that ACC had to offer or top.
And maybe that's the thing that really gets the Big 12 the respect that it deserves is you got to handle business outside the conference earlier in the season. And you have to schedule, SEC, Big 10 type caliber teams that when you beat them, that's going to open up some eyes.
And guess what they don't want to do?
Exactly.
They don't want to schedule you.
And that's where we're at with it right now,
100%.
for sure.
I mean, it was in basketball, but like early in the Tad Boyle era, Colorado got a home-and-home with Kansas. They beat Kansas in the home version, and Kansas is like, oh, we don't want to play them anymore.
Not doing that again.
We're not going to Boulder. That's a tough place to play. You think people want to go to Provo?
Right.
No. So it's tough to get games against those SEC and Big Ten schools who are also saying, like, yeah, we already have a gauntlet that we go through. Why would we want to play another hard team?
Right. Totally, man.
To lose.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to conference projections.
Do we have time for that?
We just hit an hour.
Let's save it.
Okay.
We can also maybe get a few other opinions, and then I think we should formulate our entire list tonight so we can unveil it tomorrow.
Okay, sure.
Bet.
There's still a couple more things to talk about for CU, at least recruiting-wise. Xavier Payne. He ends up committing to Colorado, just decommitted from Florida State last month. Big boy. I mean, what's
6'7", 320.
Yeah, and a high-ranking 3-star, too. 800th ranked player in the class at that size. And I've seen, people on Twitter just saying he does play against some of the top competition out there in Florida. Being in Miami in that area, the offer list is legit.
Impressive.
I mean, Florida State, Syracuse.
Obviously was a long-time Florida State commit, chose the Buffs over Syracuse, had offers from Arkansas, Florida, Louisville, Maryland, Miami, Missouri, Nebraska, Ole Miss,
Rhode
Penn
Island.
State, Rhode Island, Stetson.
What were those schools doing?
Just throwing their hat in the ring just to see if something cool happens. But, I mean, yeah, this is a big get, the 6th commit in this 2026 class for the Buffs, the first offensive lineman commit. This is a hell of a player. And somebody who, I think wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jordan Seaton. There was that quote that came out right after Xavier Payne's visit, right after he decommitted from Florida State, where he talked about his visit to Colorado, and Jordan Seaton just
scroll off of that.
I didn't even. Xavier Payne was talking about Jordan Seaton just spending time with him on a whim. Like, it wasn't something that the coaches, said, hey, Jordan, go talk to this recruit. Like, Jordan was kind of just minding his own business in the facility, saw Xavier Payne, and they chopped it up, and Xavier said that they really hit it off. And this is something that I've been thinking of, like I just said, I don't think Xavier Payne is a Buffalo if Jordan Seaton isn't.
Yep.
Right? I don't think – how sometimes in the NFL, sometimes even in college football, with coaches, right, we think of like a coaching tree. Jordan Seaton is going to have his own like player tree.
He's almost being like Shedeur, where it's like, how many of these players are even here if it's not for him?
I think it starts first with Cash Cleveland, right? And people, you might think what you want. Like,
it is
he's
what
obviously
it is,
he left. He's at Texas Tech now, but he came here because of Jordan Seaton. He was a freshman All-American, starting center for Colorado as they went on a really nice stretch to end the season. I think about just Carday Smith become a Buff without him. First, does Julian Lewis become a Buff without Jordan Seaton?
Any of these IMG kids visit?
Does the IMG pipeline, does London Mayer, Alexander McPherson become Buffs without Jordan Seaton? I don't think so. And when I think of the Coach Prime era at Colorado, if I'm thinking of a Mount Rushmore of the figures of the Coach Prime era, obviously Coach Prime's going to be there. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders is going to be on there. Travis Hunter's going to be on there. A fourth base.
Probably Jordan for sure.
Probably Jordan Seaton for me in terms of his impact, because obviously we're not even talking about what he does on the football field. Yeah. He's a freshman All-American, a preseason first-team All-Big 12 as a true sophomore. But what he's done off the field from a recruiting standpoint, a leadership standpoint, being a true leader on this team as a true sophomore, I can't say enough about Jordan Seaton. And I think, like I said, making the Coach Prime era Mount Rushmore at Colorado, I think his face is on it.
Well said.
I love it.
And by the way, I don't know how many games you could credit directly to Jordan Seaton last year, but look, we've seen firsthand how tough it is to find top-tier offensive linemen in the portal. You can find good players for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough to find first-round picks. And how many, let's just say Colorado was with Tank at left tackle last year. Like, does that cost them 2 games?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, Jordan Seaton locked it down, didn't allow a sack for, 7 straight weeks at one point in the middle of the season. Like, he was a stalwart on a offensive line that was touch and go at times. And I think it's maybe understated how important it was to have him there.
Well, and to throw another log on that fire, hat tip to you for that phrase.
I use it a lot. It's self-lubricating.
Tank had a good season. Like, he was invited to college all-star games. Like, he was like doing the draft cycle and stuff. I don't think he got drafted, but like, he had a good year. That's the difference, though, right there between a good offensive tackle in college football and a great
lockdown.
It is. I mean, it's an ocean between them still.
Totally. I mean, it's great left tackles are almost as rare as great quarterbacks.
I swear.
Yeah. Going back to Xavier Payne, I mean, he quote tweets the Hayes Fawcett commitment graphic. This all for you, mama.
That's how I know he's going to be a dog.
Obviously the relationship, and then one more piece of recruiting news before we move on and get to the chat. Get your questions in the chat, by the way, for Funk and whatever media day related. Ben Gula, he came on a visit earlier this year as well. He put CU in a top 2. Colorado and UCF.
End it.
This shouldn't even. It's not a conversation.
It's not.
He's got some other impressive offers: Indiana, Maryland, Texas A&M. This is a 6'5", 285-pound interior offensive lineman, most likely playing guard, maybe even some center.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he the one after his visit who said that he was the next former Colorado center? Was that him?
May have been
I think that was him.
Yes.
Shouting out Cash Cleveland because he did wear number 52. Ben Gula did on his visit to Colorado,
sure.
so I think that was it. But center,
He's
guard,
the one who
potential.
hit the Heisman too.
Really? Yeah, that's fire.
Remember when I was like, should have hit the Heisman? Yeah. Well, you guys were like, he did.
Look at this.
Right. Oh man. But yeah, that would be another nice ad. It seems like he visited on June 6th. He's down to a top 2. I would expect a decision soon.
Sweet.
Yes, sir.
All right. Questions?
Let's get to questions. Can you screenshot questions for me? Thank you.
I got one right here that I just saw as a super chat from Don Peasy, who said, "Late to the parties, fellas. Has there been any quote today crazier than, quote, run that mouth?"
No sirski.
That's my new catchphrase.
Actually, there has been. Scott Frost said something pretty crazy today.
Scott Frost did say something crazy today.
Now,
I don't know how long everyone's been following, college football or specifically Nebraska. I would hope you didn't have to follow it for long. But Scott Frost was the prodigal son of Nebraska. He looks like a Nebraskan. He probably was from there. I don't know that. Won a national championship at Nebraska. He was the guy, and I know because Colorado played them in his first home game. Like, Nebraska fans were beside themselves with excitement that they got their guy, their legend, to come back and coach their team after what he had done at UCF. Mm-hmm. So from the biggest honeymoon you can imagine to this.
So he was asked what he learned from his tenure at Nebraska being the head coach. And he said, don't take the wrong job.
About his alma mater.
Yeah.
He probably still got family out there.
Probably.
There's people in the stands probably still wearing his jersey, bro.
Yep. Wow. It's what a crazy just fall from grace, and just I can't. I mean, the fact that these two sides are now hating on each other.
Yeah, for
is
real.
Wild.
Yeah. Insane. Okay, some more super chats. This one's from Gilly.
Gilly.
Ready for football season to start already. Can't wait for the bus to be back.
Buff emoji.
Buff
Bus
emoji.
emoji.
Bus emoji. Next.
Can't wait for football season either.
East Coast Kev. Our guy. Shout out to East Coast Kev.
Shout out
Great show
East Coast
today.
Kev.
Thank you all for the coverage. I'm feeling very optimistic about this season. You know what, Kev? Major kudos to you because positive vibes are a little hard to come by at times right now with this fan base.
We're just too far from football. Everyone starts bitching and moaning about everything.
Yeah, so appreciate you, Kev. Eric asks, will the Big 12 stream Colorado segment what time tomorrow?
Welcome back. It is your Big 12 Media Days.
Coach Prime will be on the press conference stage at 1:20 tomorrow for 15 minutes, and you'll probably see a little bit more. He'll have like a breakaway press conference at some point tomorrow too. So you'll hear a lot from Coach Prime. And then Don Peasy.
Peasy.
Appreciate y'all.
We already got that one. All right.
Peasy.
What are you up to the rest of the night, Unc?
I don't know.
I don't either. But we should go get dinner.
That'll be in order.
Get it.
Shameless plug got a text from my guy D Peasy. That'll be Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
I was going to ask you about them.
Hey, I'm from West Jackson. You pull up in somebody's city, you check in.
Yeah.
I had to let my dog know I'm here.
Period.
He could be within a mile radius of us right now.
With a good 4 miles, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if he wants to, come on the show, he's always invited.
Always.
How you feel about George?
Pickens. Oh man, I'm loving it, man.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. We have a Cowboys.
Yeah, I know.
Got an interesting schedule. You know, we absolutely got to win the ones early that we got to win.
A little soft early? I haven't really looked at it.
It's soft early.
Okay.
It's soft early, but it self-lubricates and gets hard later, and we gotta. If you're gonna split those, you gotta have the ones early. I mean, I've already gone through it, Scotty.
Oh,
that where you got.
I'm seeing 5 L's, 12 and 5.
Now, why would you give the Cowboys a W in Week 3 in Chicago against the Bears? Why would you do that?
Who's the Bears quarterback?
You know who it is.
I don't know who it is.
Caleb Williams. The dog.
Williams. Pink fingernails, and that's why I picked the Cowboys.
He's got a dub over the Broncos in Denver.
I do?
And it should be noted that
I do.
There is not a single player on the Colorado football team that has been alive for the Cowboys beating the Broncos in any form of competition.
2025 is going to change. But look, I'm a realist. What do I have on that back half?
Yeah, that's a little.
Philly, Kansas, Detroit. I got 3 L's in a row.
So what you got them finishing out there? What's that, like 12 and 5?
Yeah,
12 and 5.
That's about right.
I try to be realistic about it, you know.
That's
but
right.
if we slip up and like lose the Broncos or something, like it's gonna derail it.
We play very well against you guys usually.
We know that's usually.
All right, that'll be a fun one. Maybe we go to the game together.
We should.
I'm trying to go to a ton of Broncos games this year, so let's do it.
I just watched like an NFL throwback this weekend. It was Broncos. I think it was in Dallas. Peyton Manning was playing. It was the game where Peyton did.
Yes.
If they had video cameras, the Broncos won.
It was the 51-48 game.
It was the one where Peyton did like the dope. Why can't I think of the freaking
bootleg?
Yes, thank you. The bootleg. Yeah, the naked boot for a touch. Yeah, that was nice.
And that wasn't called. I'm sure they talked about it.
Right,
Thing, but like he just pulled it because he knew there's no way DeMarcus Ware would believe that he kept that ball.
Because he said that like he pulled it out like his first or second year in the league, and he saved it like all the way until, which was 15 years later.
Wow.
Crazy, yeah.
It was so sick.
Shout out to D-Ware, man.
That was one of the more fun games. That whole season as a Broncos fan was so fun.
It really
Every
was.
game was like 40 points plus.
They should have won the damn Super Bowl. Jesus.
Should have. Injuries suck.
A couple more.
Cowboys by 10.
A couple more super chats. Shout out to Mr. Hillsman, long time, die-hard
squad.
Big super chats. Just shout out to all the DNVR folks behind the scenes. #ScoBuffs. Appreciate you.
That's you, RG and Alyssa.
You're right there.
Mr. Hillsman getting you the shout out.
You got a thumbs up and raise the roof from him. Big Beats Franklin says, "What up, DNVR fellas? Big Unk. Oh now. SWWD.
So what we doing? Is that still what we doing?
I love it.
Like Broncos Cowboys, what we doing?
What we doing? We're going to the DNVR tailgate.
We going. So what we doing?
Yep.
Getting turned up.
I can't wait for football season, man.
It's here, man. It's July.
I can't say it's here yet.
We're close.
I can't say it's here yet. Close, very close. Okay, chat, this is awesome. Appreciate y'all. We will be back tomorrow. We're going to have a pretty big show tomorrow.
I want to ask you tomorrow, does it feel like it's here yet?
I might change my tune tomorrow.
I think you'll change tomorrow because we'll be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we will be joined by Kaidon Salter, Julian Lewis, Jordan Seaton, Alejandro Mata, and DJ McKinney. And, of course, we will hear from Coach Prime at some point as well. Cannot wait for all of that. It's going to be a big one. See you guys tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.